Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. So on today's video we'll be discussing the reasons why you might be paying excessive tax, excessive NI, how to avoid it and how to get a refund. So the video I made about student tax rates and if students actually pay tax made people to share their tax deduction with me via email, and we found out that some people have been paying excessive tax. So if this is what will interest you, watch right through the end of this video because you are going to be learning a lot of things that are new, and also find out if you are being deducted excessively and how to stop that and how to get a refund. So the first reason why you might be paying the wrong tax is being on the wrong tax band. Yes, there is a tax bracket for a certain for every year, tax year, and for a certain period of time. So if you are not on the right tax bracket, obviously you will be paying the wrong tax. So for this year, May 2023, as I'm making this video, the right tax band generally is the 1257L. It is a code for £12,570 allowance annually for every tax paying individual. So this is the allowance that you are given that is non-taxable. So if you are not on this tax band, maybe you are on the 1155 or 11 something, that means you pay more tax because more of your personal allowances will be taxed. So if you don't if you get your pay space, you get your pay slip and you look at the tax code or the tax bracket or something around there, you look at it and you are not seeing the 1257L, you should contact your employer for some explanation to get why you are in that tax bracket you are in, what the tax bracket entails, and if need be, call the tax paying system, the HMRC number. You go to their website, you get their phone number, you call them and they explain your situation to them. They will be able to rectify that and put you into the right tax bracket. So that is the first reason why you might be getting excessive deduction or the wrong deduction on your income. Then the second one is what is called emergency tax bracket. Some employers, especially maybe agency or something, when you start a particular employment with them and you let me say, what will I call it, they don't know the right tax bracket to fill you into. Sometimes they put you into what is called the emergency tax bracket. If they put you into this emergency tax bracket, definitely is not a pleasant thing. You will be taxed excessively. Somebody shared her payslip with me and she earned about £925 for the month and she was taxed about £280. Can you imagine that? When the whole process, we were trying to analyze why she was taxed such amount of money, we found out that she was placed on the emergency tax bracket and they deducted such amount of money from her income. Why if she was in the right tax bracket, that amount should not even be taxed for a month. 950 or anything less than £1,000 is not up to her personal allowance, so she's not supposed to pay any tax on that amount. Both tax, both NI, she's not supposed to pay, but because she was placed on the emergency tax bracket, she was taxed for that amount and she was taxed very heavily. Then the third thing is your jobs. How many jobs do you have? First job, second job, third jobs, and all that. So if you have a first job here in United Kingdom, that first job naturally takes the personal allowance. So when you get a second job, it's assumed that the first job have already taken the personal allowance. So the second job is taxed 20% of whatever you earn from the second job, or 40% as the case may be. So if you have a first job and you are not getting enough shifts on the first job, let me say you have a first job and maybe at the end of the month you earn less than £1,000 on it, or you have a first job at the end of the week you earn anything less than £250 on, and because of that you decided to get a second job. If you get the second job without going to rectify your personal allowance to be divided between the two jobs, they will take out your personal allowance from that first job even when you have not even earned anything. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you have a first job and you are paid weekly, then you do one shift and you don't get any other shift on that job, and maybe that one shift is like around £100. Then you go to a second job and you're able to do more shift on that second job, and you are paid like £300 or £400 on that second job. Now that first job has taken the 242 weekly allowance that is given to you, even when your earning there is not up to £100. So you'll be paid your £100 without any tax, without any NI. Then when you go to the second job that you earned, let's say £300, they will tax the 20% of that second job. That means that £300 you will pay like £60 there as your tax, and 12% of that £300 also as your NI, without getting any form of personal allowance caution there. So what you do, if you know you have more than one job, you should either, if the first job is giving you enough hours to make up for your £1,040 per month or £242 per week, is fine, you are okay. But if you know that it's not giving you enough shifts or enough work hours, you should go to your employer, explain the situation to your employer, and know the best solution for you, how to split your personal allowance between the two jobs. Maybe this one will take 500 per year and this one will take 600 per year somehow, but find a way to divide it and balance it between your two jobs or between your three jobs or whatever. They will give you the options that is available to you. Then the next thing also is, some people take up first jobs, and when they do the job for a while, they now decided that no, this is not the kind of job I want, and they don't do any proper resignation. They are not taken out of the tax system of that first job, so they just go away from the job and start a new job. If that first job is still keying you in as your first job and as your tax paying job, it means that even while you are not doing that job, your allowances, your personal allowances is running on that job, and on the second job you will be taxed 20% of whatever you earn there, and you find yourself paying excessive tax. So if you are going away from a first job that you know that you've done for a while, you have been keyed into their payee system or any form of tax paying system, if you want to leave the job, you should try as much as possible to get to your employer and get what is called the P45 form. If you get your P45 form, you have been signed out of their system, then you can now make your second job or your third job your first job. Also, when you are filling all this payee form, you always see where they say, is this your first job since 1st of April of the year you are in, maybe 1st of April 2023, and you always answer yes or you answer no. That question is very determinant for what you will be paying for your tax. So if you answer yes, there is consequences to it. You answer no, there is consequences to it. So these are things that might be making you to be paying excessive tax and excessive NI and having a lot of deduction on your salary. So now, if you have checked all these three things and you find you are falling short on any of them, you can actually call the HMRC line. There is always an open line for someone that you can talk to, explain your situation to the person, and it will be rectified for you. Now, for every tax year, a tax year starts with April 1st and ends at March 31st of the following year. So everything that you have earned for the year is being calculated as your annual income. Then your personal allowance is deducted from that your annual income, which is £12,570. For some people it is more, like for nurses or for some care givers, they give them what they call uniform washing allowances or some other allowances, hazard allowances and stuff like that. So there are some people that have more tax, more personal allowances. They even have what they call spouse allowances, marriage allowance, something like that. If you have a spouse that is not working, that is full-time at home, and they are the only one working and making money for the whole house, you can actually apply for what they call spousal allowance, and they give you some part of that your spouse allowance that is at home, because the woman that is at home and taking care of the children is still working. Yes, it's a work that's supposed to be paid for. So they give you some part of your wife allowance or some part of your husband's allowance, as the case may be. So you can still be more than 12,570. That is what I'm trying to say. But on no occasion should you fall below 12,570. So if you have more allowance, as maybe as a nurse, as a medical, or as somebody that is doing a work that is hazardous, or like the army that is protecting the society, they have their allowances. So their personal allowance is more, or you have spousal allowance, all these allowance, they gather these allowances together and they deduct it on your annual income. Let's say you earned, at the end of the year you earned 40,000 pounds, and your allowances is something like 12,570 for the basic. Now they deduct it, and the balance will be around 28 pounds. So this 28 pounds now, they will check the 20% of 28 pounds and 12% of 28 pounds. That is what is your NI and your tax. So if by checking this 20% and they find out that you have paid, let's say the tax that you're supposed to pay is 12,000 pounds for the annum, and you pay 13,000 pounds, whatever that is of excess of 12,000 pounds, you can get that as a tax refund. So you go for a tax rebate, and you have to provide your P60, provide your pay slips and stuffs, and you will be given a refund of that excess. But it's better to avoid a tax excess than to get a refund. But if an excess has already happened, there's nothing you can do about it. So what our advice is that a tax year just ended, because we are in May 2023. So the 2022 tax year just ended in March 31st. So go to your employer and get a form that is called P60 form. It looks like this. So this is the P60. I hope I can focus it. So this is the P60 form that will be given to you, and on this form everything that you earned for the year will be written down, and the tax that you paid for the year will be written down here. So when you get your P60 form, you calculate it by yourself and know if you have an excess of tax, and you go for a refund. Then if you are leaving your job, you get a P45 form that will also state the amount that you have earned while working in the company or in the organization, and the tax you have paid within that time, and the balance of what you will be getting as a tax refund. So I hope this video has been helpful and it has helped someone out there. Remember to subscribe, like, share if you found value. Thank you and bye bye. See you in my next video.